Hello friends, Maju Sharma here again, and today we will conclude the ode to a nightingale written by John Keats. Keats, who was suffering with the tuberculosis of the bone, who was suffering a rejection from the society as a poet because some other stalwarts stood against him, not against him, in his time, contemporary to him, and that he had no companions. Because this disease seemed to have encompassed his brother and some family inmates as well. So, with the understanding that the world is full of pain, the world is here on earth and subject to the earthly pains, sufferings, anguishes, rejections, and death. In this moment of a deprivation, a kind of utter deprivation from all pleasures, and sitting desolate in a forest, he hears the song of a nightingale. And at once he is transported into a state of happiness. In the beginning, he admits that it is not because of envy of the happy lot of the nightingale, but because of more happiness in being able to assess that there is someone who is capable of transporting a suffering man into a sense of happiness, of transgressing through all the darkness and still cause an illumination of a kind that the poet is able to perceive individually what plants, the moss, the thicket, the hawthorn, the eglantine, and musk rose, and the dewy drops that are there on each blade of a grass, he can feel. So, this has come to him only because of his awaking to the melody of the bird. And we conclude, the thought after having read that the poet, on hearing Keats, on hearing the melody produced by the nightingale, falls in love with the voice and falls in love with death, who he had just been half in love with at earlier times, at other times of happinesses and some kind of relaxation. This moment, when he is completely relaxed with the realization that there is a spirit singing for him, that there are flowers all around, that there is fragrance, and that there is the taste of death awaiting him somewhere, he wants to escape from the world. So now we conclude this poem. And the poet says, "Thou was not born for death, immortal bird." Not consciously, but unconsciously, the poet is actually making a contrast of himself with the bird. He says, "You were not born for death, you are immortal." Because actually, we hardly ever see a dead bird lying somewhere, or unless it is crushed by a vehicle. run over by a vehicle. So that mysterious thing might have caused the poet to believe that birds don't die, because we generally don't see the bodies of the bird. Maybe they are consumed away by animals of prey. So you were not born for death, immortal bird. No hungry generations tread thee down. Now, these succeeding lines will be the lines to talk about the brutal reality of the earthly people. What happens to the earthly people? Earthly people are run down, are tread down. Tread is crushing under feet. So, for you, it's not like that, that new people will come and crush you under their feet. New birds will come and crush you under their feet. This is the lot means fate of the earthly creatures. Earthly creatures are tread down by hungry generations. We can see the personal pain of the poet. If someone suffers, and we know that someone is suffering in a very terrible form, what we start doing is we start praying for his exit from the earth. We give up soon against death. So he says that people here are tread down by the hungry generation. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Now, this example he gives, why does he call the bird immortal? क्यों कह रहे हैं कि ये चिड़िया कभी मरी नहीं? क्योंकि इसी चिड़िया को जो मैं आज पासिंग नाइट में सुन रहा हूँ, उसको एंशियंट डेज में भी एम्परर्स और क्लाउन्स ने सुना है. एम्परर्स आर पीपल इन पावर, क्लाउन्स आर, दिस इज मेटोनिमी, एंड क्लाउन इज फॉर ऑर्डिनरी पीपल. तुम्हारी आवाज़ तो बहुत पुराने हम थोड़ी बोलते हैं कि हमें केवल नाइटिंगेल का गीत सुना हमने. कभी हमारे पूर्वज भी बोलते थे, उन्होंने भी सुना होगा और उनके ने भी सुना होगा. तो दिस कॉज द पोएट टू बिलीव दैट this bird is immortal. It doesn't die. It has lived over generations. Perhaps the self-same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth. Now, this Ruth is again a girl, also a Greek girl who deserted her father for the love of a man. And this man took her away from the father and left her desolate in some place, in a desolate place. So when she was in agony and desolate and deserted by the boy, she must have stood sick for home in tears amid the alien corn. So she was deserted in an alien place. So you are the one who should have comforted this Ruth. You must. This is a tale of a girl, and in which it is mentioned towards the end that she finds comfort only when a bird, the nightingale, sang for her, and then she was able to pass away silently from the earth, and she also got rid of the sorrow. So the poet mentions this Ruth here. He brings the anecdote of Ruth and says that you found, तुमने तब उसको रूथ को भी शांति पहुंचाई थी, और तुमने क्या किया था? The same, यही आवाज ने, that oft times have charmed magic casements opening upon the foam of perilous seas in fairy land forlorn. These are oft quoted lines from this text, Ode to the Nightingale. और यहाँ पर आपके लिए बहुत खूबसूरत विजुअल ट्रीट है। आपकी आँखों को ये नज़ारा देखना पड़ेगा कि तुम्हारी आवाज़ ने ऑफ्ट टाइम्स, बहुत बार, सेम मीन्स योर वॉइस, तुम्हारी वॉइस ने रूथ को भी राहत पहुंचाई थी। और तुम्हारी आवाज़ ने केवल मनुष्यों को नहीं, इसने चार्म्ड मैजिक केसमेंट्स आर विंडोज। अब आप ओपनिंग ऑन द फोम ऑफ पेरिलस इज डेडली, जो खतरनाक समुद्र होते हैं, जब समुद्र भी तुम्हारी आवाज़ सुनते हैं तो उसमें लहरें उठती हैं। अब आपको ये ज़रा प्लीज़ ये पिक्चर देखना पड़ेगा कि जब हवाएं चलती हैं और समुद्र के अंदर उफान आता है तो उसका पानी ऊपर उठ जाता है, और जब वो पानी ऊपर उठ जाता है तो उसके अंदर थोड़ी थोड़ी मछलियाँ भी उसके साथ उठ जाती हैं। तो ऐसा लगता है कि समुद्र की खिड़की खुल गई है। और ये कौन कर सकता है? किसमें हिम्मत है ये करने की? नाइटिंगेल। When she sings near the seas, the perilous, the deadly seas are charmed into opening up casements, opening up windows through which you can transparently see some of the creatures living there. And you have caused the fairy lands forlorn is empty, deserted, vacated. You can cause seas to open there. इतनी ताकत है उसकी आवाज़ में कि हवाएं भी चल पड़ती हैं और हवाएं जाके समुद्र को उद्वेलित कर देती हैं। they charm the seas to open up casements. So just try to see that a bird at this point is singing a song. The notes flow, they are taken up by the waters of the sea, the water gets charmed, rises up, and the creatures of the seas are visible. So windows get opened up. You can open up the window of death. इसको इनडायरेक्टली आप ऐसे समझें, फॉरलोन, ये शब्द बोलते ही पोएट को एकदम रियलाइज होता है, अरे मैं भी तो अकेला ही हूँ, मेरे भी केसमेंट्स खुल सकते हैं। द वेरी वर्ड इज लाइक अ बेल टू टॉल मी बैक फ्रॉम दी टू माई सोल सेल्फ. I realize that even I am alone. No one is around. I sat through the evening, sat through the night, and I was all alone. Adieu. So he says, go away. The bird has actually gone away. The fancy cannot cheat so well as she is famed to do. Deceiving elf. Elf are tiny monsters who play tricks upon people. They are imaginary creatures. They are believed to live under the earth, and they come up only from some creeks in the earth to deceive the people. So he says, goodbye, bird. You cannot cheat me. Now I am in full realization that I am back on this earth. All the transport that you did to my imagination, that I could see several Hellenic things, I could remember several folklores, and I could juggle up for my eyes the beautiful scenes somewhere in fairy lands. Now that you are gone, I come back to myself. Adieu, adieu. And in a depression, he says, farewell, farewell. Thy plaintive anthem fades. Plaintive is sad, anthem is song. Your sad song, अब लगता है मैंने इतना जो बोला, even you are touched by some kind of sadness. You couldn't tolerate my pain too much and you have left me. Even you have deserted me. It fades past the near meadows. अब देखो उनके कान कितने शार्प हैं. वो बता रहे हैं कि बर्ड दूर 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 होती जा रही है, तो वो बता रहे हैं कहाँ पर? पास्ट द नियर मेडोज. अभी चिड़िया की आवाज़, नाइटिंगेल की आवाज़ पास के मेडोज में सुनाई दे रही है. उसके बाद में ओवर द स्टिल स्ट्रीम, अब महसूस हो रही है थोड़ी और आगे, अप द हिल साइड, और अब उसकी आवाज़ जैसे वो पहाड़ी पे चढ़ के जा रही हो, and now it is buried deep in the next valley glades, and now we cannot hear the bird. The bird has flown away fast from him. Was it a vision or a waking dream? And the poet is nonplussed. He cannot tell for sure whether the bird really sang or was it something of an imagination. Imagination, which is an integral aspect of all romantic writings. When there was too much of discussion about poetry being whether for instruction or for delight, Coleridge had put an end to all this argument by saying that poetry was for delight, delight caused by imagination and fancy. And the poet Keats has used both the words. He says that, was it a vision or a waking dream? Was I really dreaming while I was awake? Fled is that music. Colon and dash. Colon means what is going to come further is going to be the description of what has been said priorly. So he says that music is fled, and he questions himself, do I wake or sleep? So was it that I was awake and all this happened to me in reality, or that it was my imagination? This rhetoric, the use of the question mark, is really implying to us is giving to us the answer that he was both, that he was awake mentally and sleep though physically, or that he was awake mentally or asleep physically. I'm sorry. Even I am transported to this ecstasy. So, this poem is one very prominent poems, one of the very prominent poems written by Keats, and on which a large reputation of Keats rests. This poem must be understood on several planes as a particular Keatsian composition in which his personal agonies are highlighted, as a Hellenic structure in which too much of Greek references have been used, as a sensuous poem in which all our senses have been appealed to, or as an escapist poem in which the poet is wanting to escape. He escaped with the notes of the bird, and even at the end, he doesn't know what he has escaped, the reality or the imagination. Thank you.